In the 2024 Tour de France, Eritrean Biniam Girmay is the sprint king. Today in Villeneuve-sur-Lot, stage 12, picking up his third stage win in this edition, his third win in history at the Tour de France, scoring his first Eritrean, first black cyclist when he won in Torino, and now today building on that momentum, building on that confidence, and adding more points to his green jersey, taking his third stage win, now leading the green jersey competition by over 100 points on Jasper Philipsen in second place. In the 203-kilometer stage, we had action right away. Let's not focus on the escape, but this crash that was back there. It involves several riders, including Tadej Pogačar. We're not sure if he hit the ground or what. One of the non-starters of the day, Mark Cavendish's lead-out man, Michael Morkov, who didn't start due to a COVID positive. The escape was a power escape with two riders from Groupama, Valentin Madouas and Paschier. Also, we had Jonas Abrahamsson there in the polka dot jersey, although it's now Tadej Pogačar leading that competition, and stage winner from the other day, Turgis. They were riding up front for most of the day. Our attention turned back to the back of the group, or behind the group, because it's Pello Bilbao abandoning the Tour de France, seemingly sick. Also yesterday, he was on a bad day. It's unfortunate for the rider last year who won a stage, dedicated it to his teammate who had died earlier in the season, Gino Mador. He would pull out of the stage just a day after his teammate, Fred Wright, had abandoned due to the time gap, the time penalty delay on the stage. Up front, well, the race was going on. It was a fight for the green jersey points at the intermediate sprint and a fight ahead for the escapees to survive. We saw Turgis, all the other riders being pulled back by the peloton behind. The sprint teams really wanted to make something happen. All that we had left was their two Groupama riders and the ever-present Jonas Abrahamsson up there in the polka dot jersey, doing Norway and Team Uno X proud. Let's focus back behind to the peloton because they were setting up for the sprint. We had a dangerous moment here, an unfortunate moment, and this is what I want to focus on with the crash of Primoz Roglic. Lusenko of Team Astana jumped over, well, didn't make it, hit a divider in the middle of the road. It's unfortunate. We have all this road furniture off on the left, all sorts of Lotto Destiny riders, including their Australian, down on the ground, which would affect Arnaud Delis in his sprint lead out later on. And then we saw the replay because off on the right there, when Lusenko hit that road furniture going from left to right, it was Primoz Roglic who plowed right into him, hit the ground, and was back up on his bike quickly, but had to work his way back up to the fast charging peloton. Remember, we're around 12 kilometers out, so the speed's very high with the sprint teams revving it up for the final. So it was no luck for Primoz Roglic to get back on, and there was no rule for him at 12 kilometers out. That would come at 5K to go, and that close-up really saw Primoz hitting the ground hard. The Slovenian winner of the Giro d'Italia, Vuelta a España several times, now riding with Bora Hansgrohe, rebranded Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe for the Tour de France. And the lead out, well, we saw Astana up there, we saw Mark Cavendish following Jasper Philipsen. Israel Premier Tech was working hard for Pascal Ackermann, who'd been up there in the past few days. Arnold Demar was well placed today with the team in red, Arkea BMB over on the right, and we saw Wout van Aert, who crashed yesterday in the mountain stage, was charging. He was well placed, working his way up the right. Biniam Girmay, we could see him in the green over towards the center, starting to charge as Arkea revved it up for Arnold Demar, looking like he could set up for a stage win. But then we see Wout van Aert pushing up the right-hand side, getting pushed into the barriers, but we think it's okay. It won't be Demar's fault. Wout van Aert has to charge over to the left instead, and we see Girmay coming up the center, Cavendish sometime back there, and Jasper Philipsen in the mix as well. But it's Girmay celebrating his third victory ahead of Wout van Aert, and Demar gets third on the day, and the camera switched back to Primoz Roglic. Never a good day for Primoz. Yesterday, he'd crashed on a descent. He looked okay, just a little bit scraped up, but today, this looks pretty bad. I was waiting at the Red Bull team bus when he rolled in. I got some footage of him, pretty banged up, to be honest. Spoke with Wout van Aert over the Visma Lisa bike bus, and he said it was unfortunate for his former teammate. It seems like he always has bad luck. And he said at that moment, there was really a lot of stress in the bunch, and Lusenko kicked off this crash. We'll have to look at the overhead as to what caused Lusenko to go from left to right all of a sudden. But at the sharp end of the peloton is Biniam Girmay, the Eritrean rider, confirming he is king in this Tour de France, winning his 3rd stage win. And while Primoz Roglic was on the bus, we were having a moment to look at the GC because Primoz finished on the day nearly last in the stage at 2:27 back. He's now 4 minutes and some change back in the overall, slipped down 2 spots in the GC. And frankly, I have doubts whether or not he will continue in this race. We'll have to get an update later on. So a sad day for Primoz, but an excellent day for Eritrea, for Intermarché, and their star rider, Biniam Girmay.